Yo, what is going on, guys? Today is patch note day for patch 3.22 Path of Exile, and we are going to go through them in a TLDR format. I took a bunch of notes, so I'm not just going to read through these. That's super boring for everybody involved, so I took a bunch of notes, hit the key features as I scroll through this. I'm going to stop and talk briefly about the things I found really important, and then skip over the stuff that I didn't find important. So I'm sorry if there's something in here that you thought was important and I don't talk about. Leave a comment down below and let me know. That being said, hit like, subscribe, comment. Means a lot to me, and then we're gonna jump straight into the patch notes because I'm gonna try to get through this as quickly as possible. But let's get into it. 3.22 patch notes. First thing, Ancestor Challenge League. There's nothing new here. Unless you didn't see the trailer, then it's all new. But this is all things I mentioned from ExileCon a couple weeks ago, so that's right at the top. Nothing new here though, so we're gonna skip it. New content and features. This is probably a bulk of the content we're getting for this league. All the support gems are listed here and kind of what they do, but there are no numbers on them. Likely we will get these tomorrow or early next week. Hopefully tomorrow, so we can start doing some builds with the new gems. Other than that, so I'm not going to really touch on them because without numbers, these don't really make a lot of sense. There are two that I want to touch on right away though, and those are the minion ones, as they kind of affect my league starter from last week, which was Absolution Necromancer. The first one is Guardian Blessing, which is right here. Strength Intelligence support gem. Must support both a skill that creates minions, which can be damage, and an aura skill that creates permanent auras around you. Basically, this allows auras to be applied to your minions instead of you, and there's no reservation then. Important things to note on this one, I think, are it is a blessing skill, so this means it probably can only do this one time with support, and the other thing is that it apparently applies a big percentage of max life as fizz damage per second to that minion. There's ways to offset this. The most obvious one that comes to mind to me is with Animate Guardian and like a chest piece that does a lot of life regen. Ruthless, I believe, does that. Is like kind of the go-to for me anyways. The problem with this is fizz damage per second is probably one of the easiest way for your minions to die. It really depends what the number on this damage per second is, if this is worth taking or not, because I don't want to invest into an Animate Guardian and then take all its life regen away either. So let's see the number. The other one important minion gem that I want to talk about quickly is Fresh Meat support. The Intelligence support gem. Support skills that create minions. Minions created by support skill gems gain Awakened Fury, which is brand new, and Adrenaline for 10% of their duration, up to 10 seconds. This is actually better than we were expecting, I think, because we were not sure if this is going to be applied to duration minions at all, and it is, just for 10%. The first thing that came to mind for Fresh Meat is this is really, really good for skeleton mages. I'm going to be able to apply Adrenaline. I looked at my endgame PoE for skeleton mages, and it was about a 40-ish second duration, so it means the first 4 seconds, which is a key number because that is how long Blessed Rebirth lasts, so they don't take damage. My minions will have Adrenaline and Awakened Fury, which I believe they mentioned in the trailer for this league is crit chance and crit multi. So Adrenaline, anytime you mention Adrenaline and a chance to get Adrenaline on minions, I'm super interested. This could be a huge buff for skeleton mages and other minion builds. SRS maybe, Animate Weapon maybe, and other things like that. Other than that, the rest of the support gems are here. A lot of them are mentioned already in a couple of teasers, but again, until we get numbers, I don't think there's any point in really going over these. More important to me, we got all the new Atlas Keystone passives. There were a few that jumped out to me right away. First one is Arbitrary Tenants, which is a ritual passive. As soon as I find it in the list here, right here. Figure that ritual altars on your maps randomly cost between 90% less and 80% more. On average, they'll cost less, which is good. This is a pretty gambly mechanic, which is usually pretty good in Path of Exile. It's just the way the game kind of works. So if you like ritual, it's probably one I would take just for fun. The other two that are super interesting to me are bold undertakings. So Fortune Favors the Brave applies an additional random option at 100% more cost. So basically you pay for Fortune Favors the Brave twice, and it works twice. This seems really, really strong for Fortune Favors the Brave. Early mapping progression, this is a way to get 2 extra pieces of juice on your map. It's going to cost you about 6C because it'll be 3C a piece, so pretty good. The other one is the one right below it is Overloaded Cruise Circuits, which grants league map crafting options. Also choose 3 random notable Atlas pass skills associated with that league to treat as allocated and 100% more cost of map crafting options. Without knowing, we haven't gone over the map crafting options, but they were released. One of them is Essence. Essence costs 2C for 2 additional essences this league. This is the thing. If you do 4 nodes into Essence, you get this one. All the other Essence notables there's 3 of them. You can see them here, here, and here, with with that passive and just these 4 nodes, you are getting all of the essence notables for free. So you can go completely right side of the tree and get all the essence ones. This is what's been standing out for me with this. I think this is like utterly broken for essence farming. Basically, for 4 points and an extra 2 chaos, or so 4 chaos total to put essence on your map, you can get all the essence notables. Absolutely insane. All right, next up we have Sanctum changes. Big changes for Sanctum. I think it was mentioned of defenses matters. There's a whole section here on your primary defenses now protect your resolve, armor prevents mitigation, evasion, chance to avoid resolve, ES more resolve Aegis. So that all makes sense. Other big changes for Sanctum is rare monsters. You need to defeat all the rare monsters in an area to complete the Sanctum floor. So that's very different from Sanctum. The old Sanctum, if you knew where the exits were, you could just skip to the exit. All you had to do was get to the exit, and that was considered completing the floor. Now you have to defeat all the rare monsters. And the other thing we have to do is they've added more rooms and more hazards. I don't know what more hazards means. I'm assuming like more traps and more room variety. So this is more to learn for Sanctum, which is going to be interesting because we actually will not be doing Sanctum as often, most likely. So that's quite possibly going to be a lot to learn for Sanctum. But Sanctum's back, which is good. So I'm happy. Next up, Atlas changes. Atlas changes, we get the rotation of maps every league. I'll talk about the ones that I think were interesting that were added. We got Bog, Glacier, Haunted Mansion. Those are really big for... They all have like pretty good things going on there. Been popular for many leagues before. More importantly, the map's getting removed. We're losing Defiled Cathedral. So one of the Apothecary farming maps. I'm assuming the card gets moved somewhere else. Jungle Valley. Jungle Valley is super good because it didn't spawn the boss right away. So it was a very popular, just like Alkengo, Exarch Altar kind of map. It was really good currency making that way. And we're losing Toxic Sewer. Just kind of a good map with good density. Other thing I found interesting in the Atlas changes is we have unique maps are no longer offered as a mission when re-rolling Kirax with Explorer Scouting Report. This is a big nerf to Explorer Scouting Report and probably a big nerf to getting all of your Atlas points early. I assume this means the price of unique maps is going to go up this league. So there you go. I think it's like a minor nerf that is going to get looked over a lot. Atlas passive tree changes. So we have Shaping the Seas and Valley removed. Just for reference, what those were. These are these 2 nodes up here. These are very popular being in the league. So they have chance to be 50% chance to be 1 tier higher maps. Chance to get a special implicit modifiers on your map device and things like that. Make Fortune Fair Brave a little better. The good news is these were replaced by the 2 good passes I mentioned earlier that were Bolt Undertakings and Overloaded Circuits. So I'm still going to take them. And they're adding a 6th passive skill there and upping the chance rate of the small nodes so that it all balances out so you still get your total chance to be 1 tier higher. They're also adding a new map cluster to the Atlas tree that provides final map boss has a chance to drop an additional map, and all maps have 1 tier higher. Basically, the combination of these 2 together combines that you can still get your 100% chance to drop 1 tier higher. It's just going to be a little bit different pathing, I think, on the way we start our trees for map progression early in the league. Next up is Legion change. This got me incredibly nervous when I read the title, but it's actually not nerfs to like Legion drops. Hopefully it's not Shadow nerf, which is one of the theories I had. This is actually just a change to 5-way farming, if that's something you're into. Not something I took advantage of very often, but so if you do 5-way farming, just be aware that it got pretty drastically nerfed here. I think the early estimates I saw were like 50% less experience from 5-ways. But it's probably still the most efficient leveling in the game if you have the currency and if that's a mechanic you like to do and you just want to sit in AFK while you get XP. Skip ahead. Ascendancy balances. Guardian Chieftain. They got like little touch-ups to make them like a little bit better. The one I'll touch on Guardian is that the Elemental Relic did get added when you hit a unique or rare enemy. It gets a chance to summon one of them too. That wasn't there on the original screenshot they released, so that needed to be added, or else this was just like a dead node. The more important thing to me actually was the changes to Ascendant. Obviously Guardian Chieftain need new Ascendancies. I want to talk about the Guardian one actually. So this is, I'm going to start here. It now provides aura, yada yada yada. If you attacked recently, against the block, gets spell recently, whatever, regenerate half your life, every 4 seconds, cool. What they removed was, while there are at least 5 nearby allies, you and nearby allies have Onslaught. It took away Onslaught from minions on the Ascendant. You can now not play Ascendant on a minion build. I'm not sure what the plan there is, GGG, because you made it very clear like two or three leagues ago that you wanted more minion diversity by taking away the +2 all skill gems from Necromancer, and now you're making Ascendant not playable for minions, which was probably the second best minion Ascendancy before this, so getting very mixed signals. There's no buff to minions now on Guardian from the Ascendant, so you absolutely cannot play like Ascendant minion builds anymore. I don't know what happened there. Minor thing, Occultist had a bug fixed. Basically, the way I read this, it just made it worse. If you play a cold Occultist, keep in mind of that. Okay. Passive skill changes. New melee clusters, kind of the first 4 here. It's cool, I don't play melee, so I didn't think it was necessary to talk about these for me, but if you play melee, definitely keep note of these. These are all down by the Marauder and Duelist starting areas. Next thing is fix notes. Vengeance Cascade basically is done. It is now just returning projectiles 150% increased speed. Unless you're using the returning projectiles new support gem, I still then don't even think this is still worth it. So this is Vengeance Cascade is basically done, basically removed from the game. Don't need to think about that anymore. I did mention the last note here. The totems taunt enemies around them for 1 second when summoned. Totem Mastery has been replaced with 1% of physical attack damage dealt by your totems leeches to his life. The totem taunt was actually pretty good. I usually used it on totem builds. It was able to, like, 1 second and everything that was attacking you shifted directions for a second. It was really good if you're popping around maps. Just drop, 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 drop. You just drop every second and you're never taking damage, basically. So that's pretty sad to see go, but the one that I got added here is like leech his life. This is good if you're actually using your totems to do physical attack damage, which I don't think most people are doing right now, but this is kind of a buff to things that use Ancestor Protector and things like that. Skill balance. We have a problem here. It's, what's this, 7 lines? And there's nothing major here. So this is kind of a big omega lull. I don't know what the plan here is. Hopefully, I'm guessing GG's plan is that the new support gems shake the meta up enough that we get something new here, but I ain't seeing it yet. So the only thing mentioned here is Temp Chain's got a slight nerf to other effects on enemies expire slower. It was 40%, it's down to 25% slower. So that's a slight nerf to dot builds that use Temp Chains. Other than that, there's nothing I saw here that was really important. So whatever, unique balance, item balance, none of it's important. Now we have the biggest problem I have with the patch notes. Ruthless specific changes goes for a while. These are all Ruthless changes. You could have told me these were all like skill bound changes for the normal game. I've been like, oh, cool. That was cool. Those are all just Ruthless changes. For a side project, it has gotten out of control that half my patch notes were just Ruthless changes, and I didn't get any changes like the actual game that 99% of people play. That's really, really annoying, and I am annoyed. So that's my Ruthless rant, and that was really annoying to see in the patch notes. Actually, Ruthless are now on. GG, if you listen to this at all, make your own patch notes of Ruthless. Get them out of this section, please. Okay. Monster balances does affect everybody again, because it's at the end of the Ruthless, but this is all the games. The biggest thing for me here is Shaper Guardians, Elder Guardians, and Conquerors now drop far fewer influence items on death. It was like kind of like a loot fiesta when you killed one of these guys. It'd be like 7 to 10 items would drop that were influenced. Far fewer is alarming. That could be down to like 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 2 to 3. We might guess far fewer is a pretty meaningful term for them to use. So I think that will change the economy of those types of gear, at least for the early game, because like that gear was so cheap early to get influenced gear. I think it's going to actually affect the economy. Other changes is a slight change to the way tainted currency works. Odds of dropping taking a turn beyond bosses up, and slightly reduced odds from other monsters. So there's more incentive to kill beyond bosses now than there used to be. So I would make sure your build, if you're farming taking currency, I would make sure your build can actually handle beyond bosses now. Next up, Kirk map mods available. These were released a while ago. Nothing shocking here. Everything seems to be as expected. Quest rewards of how to get the new gems. Whole list of bug fixes. I don't read these. If something important here, let me know. Leave me a comment down below. But that's it. And that's the patch notes. We ran through those in about 15 minutes. So hopefully that's enough time to get everything I needed in there and a little bit more. Overall, nothing really got nerfed or buffed. Only big loss is Vengeance Cascade. Completely gone from the game, basically. Looks like GG is going to be relying on the new support gems to shake up the meta. I didn't see anything. Maybe the numbers will come out tomorrow or this weekend, and we'll see something that's just pops out and makes a new build enabling support gem, but don't see it so far. So league start should be the same basically as last league, and unfortunately I think this means that the league mechanic and the return of Sanctum will have to carry this league to success. So that's a little bit concerning, but the league mechanic does look promising, and Sanctum we know was fun and rewarding, so as long as that didn't get reworked too hard, I think we're in for a good league. If you enjoyed watching the video and you stuck out this long, please leave a like down below. Click the subscribe button, means a ton to me. Other than that, I'll catch you next time.